Might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. Might seem crazy, hot air thing. I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Give me all you got, don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Give me all you got, don't hold it back. Try to warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't be fine. Why? Because I'm happy. If you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along.
Welcome everybody to The Peak. This is Lili Thompson. I'm Tyler Costin, and we're excited to have another free-flowing conversation which occasionally touches on more obscure subject matter, and we're excited to have your attention and are committed to serve you. Lili, what's up?
This is super exciting.
Lili, let everybody know where you're dialing in from in the world, and feel free, everybody else that's on, to drop into the chat box where you guys are coming in from.
Yeah, I am in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just staying in my house, working from home, just hanging out.
And Lili, is Tulsa, Oklahoma known for its donuts? Are you a donut lover? Talk to us about the donut there.
I don't think we're known for our donuts. I am a donut lover, and this is my donut pillow that I'm borrowing from my 6-year-old niece.
Gosh, well, thank her for us as well. And so, like, is that a really small pillow, or am I struggling with the scale of your camera right now?
Yeah, it's just a really small pillow. It's like this big.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, let's welcome a couple people on the call as well. We got Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada, represented and in the house.
Yeah, we got Denmark on here. That's pretty cool.
What? Oh man, snaps to Denmark. We have people from Texas and West Texas. So very important distinction there. So welcome to all parts of the Lone Star State.
Cleveland. Oh, we've got another Oklahoma.
Let's
Somebody
go.
in Mustang, Oklahoma.
LA to Colorado. I like it. Chicago, Arkansas, Grinnell, Iowa. Hopefully
East Lebanon. Coach Jod from East Lebanon. Snaps to you, Coach.
Let's go. Man, I'm excited. We got some people excited that Lili are on. We have one person excited that I'm here, so I appreciate that as well. All right, well, I'm pumped up about this, Lili. It's great to talk. We've gotten to have a couple conversations as we've had a little more time on our hands, and we've been social distancing and self-quarantine. But for those of you that don't know, Lili Thompson is not only an incredibly gifted PGC director, but she's also an NCAA national champion. She's played her college basketball at Stanford and then won the national championship at Notre Dame. Then she's a professional basketball player, Harlem Globetrotter. I bought my ball to show you some of my Harlem Globetrotter tricks. We'll see if we can get to that. And really an entrepreneur as well. So big snaps, Lili. Welcome to the call. Excited to have you. How about we kick this off with some celebrations? Lili, how about you go first? What would you like to celebrate today?
You know, I'm going to celebrate PGC and more specifically all of the parents, coaches, athletes who have been tuning into the Peak. I've been tuning in all week kind of just as a viewer as well. And I think it's amazing how we're like kind of shifting what we're doing to serve the community. And I think it's serving all of us as well. So celebration for PGC as a whole.
I like that. I like that. And I'm seeing a celebration. I can't quite grab the name there. I see the first three letters, MAH. But we got an OMG, much love to women basketball players, 8th grade girl, and excited to see you. Absolutely. And,
yeah, shout out.
Shout out and thank you for being here. I love it. All right, here's my celebration. This is part of the free flowing conversation. I had so much fun last night in our backyard here. We were locked into our backyard and we got 2 fruit trees. We got a grapefruit tree and an orange tree, and they're coming to the end of the season. So we had a fruit ninja fight, myself and my 2 daughters, my 7-year-old and my 4.5-year-old. We made a couple swords out of sticks, and we were flinging fruit at each other, trying to slice it out of the air, covered in citrus juice. And it was just one of the most on point stress relieving things I've done in a long time. So I celebrate my daughters and fruit ninja fights in the backyard.
I'll celebrate that too. It sounds awesome.
I wish I'd captured it on video. I wish I captured. Our scores would have been very low, but happiness was quite high.
That's what matters.
Both Lili and I would love to interact with you on Twitter. These are quick hitters here on the Peak. We just take a quick look into a subject. And hopefully shine some light on that subject as well, important subjects. And that's why I'm really excited to have you on to talk about this important subject, Lili. And we would love to engage with you further on social media. So thanks, producer Kyle dropped our, it looks like our Twitter handles in there. And so please get at us. We'd love to continue the conversation on there when we're all done. And, that being said, Lili, maybe before we actually one more thing before we get started will be this. For anyone that is trying to share this with someone, we are live streaming on YouTube right now as well, and we'll continue to do that. So if you're watching the live stream on YouTube, for those of you over there, welcome, and just click that little subscribe box on the bottom right of your screen, and you'll get notified as we do these peaks daily. So I want to make sure to say welcome to our people over on YouTube as well. All right, Lili, I'm excited to dive into this real quick. You got to pick the subject matter here, and I think it's really on point. What made you want to talk about how to more effectively deal with stress today?
Well, what made me want to talk about it was all the stress that I felt like I was under, and talking with athletes, like you mentioned, on Twitter, Instagram, just kind of realizing that we're all experiencing a lot of the same thing. And so getting an opportunity to serve and kind of share these 4 tools for stress that I've been trying to implement into my life, and share them with everybody here, I think it's just a great opportunity for us all to kind of get more still and get more well during kind of this out of the box time. Yeah,
I agree. So would it be safe to say that you felt some stress over the few weeks as well?
Absolutely. And that really kind of, the acknowledgement of that, which is kind of the first thing that I think is so important with this conversation, is just to acknowledge that this is a stressful time. Like, there's so much going on that none of us have dealt with before. And, when something like this is happening, we might feel stressed or anxious or even fearful or confused. And kind of acknowledging that we're going through that, I think, is the first step in figuring out how to manage it. So yeah, I was absolutely like, man, what is going on with the world? Because I am not feeling well.
Yeah. And maybe we can take a moment for everybody to kind of drop this in, but I've been feeling similar things, and it's nuts how even, I've been quarantined obviously with my family, just kind of social distancing, but like my 4.5-year-old daughter, one of the things that she asks every morning is there still a virus? And there's been nights where she's come into the bedroom and she's like, I'm scared. What are you scared of, honey? I'm scared of the virus. And I mean, they just pick up on these things.
Yeah.
And when people close to you feel stressed, you feel it as well. But it's a real thing. Maybe let's just take a moment and feel free to just type into the chat box. What are some things that you've been feeling over the past few weeks? I'm gonna go ahead and type one in as well.
Yeah, I am too. It's a big one right here.
And it's great seeing a lot of awesome messages of just hope and and faith and love. That's awesome. But it's also very real to feel overwhelmed. I'm seeing worry, some boredom, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sore from the lower body workout, absolutely.
Yeah,
Right?
celebration.
I just got over it. I'm ready for Rudy's workout this week for my upper body to be sore. Absolutely.
Sad at not being able to play basketball. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think these are all really, really big, important things to kind of acknowledge. So I don't know how many things get solved by ignoring them, you know? And so
Right.
when something like this is happening, I think it's so important to adapt. I was thinking about a way to kind of capture a basketball kind of, relationship, because we've all been through seasons and dealt with adversity, and kind of how we can use those experiences right now. And I was thinking about this team that I always used to play in high school. And like, my high school team was pretty good, but there was just this one team that we could not get past, and they were called Canyon. And like, I know you guys probably have a team that you couldn't get past, or that was always like a battle. Just nod with me in your house if you're feeling that way. You remember that team, absolutely. And the thing about Canyon was, like, they could shoot the basketball lights out. Like, it just seemed like they did not miss. And my coach came into practice one day before we were set to play them, and was like, I watched a bunch of film. I know their weakness. And we're like, okay, what is it? And she's like, they cannot break a full court press. And me and my team just kind of looking at each other like, well, too bad we don't run a full court press. My coach was like, no, we've got to adapt. We've got to change. We've got to, figure this thing out, because that's how we're going to beat them, going to get over this adversity. And that idea of like adapting, even though it might be uncomfortable or new, to kind of beat some adversity, is how I think we should all be approaching like stress and productivity, and still having positivity and joy in our lives, even though things are pretty uncertain out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. What as Lili and I were talking, she has done some prep. She's going to share with us, and I'm really excited to go through them with her. 4 tools for stress, and that's really what we want you to take away from this time we have together, because we're all going to feel it. You're either going to feel it because of the current situation in the world, or you're going to feel it when you're playing a team that you need to beat, or is the challenging team to beat, or you're going to feel it because you got to perform for that coach that might give you playing time, or maybe a coach that might give you a scholarship, or you can feel stress in your personal life. Like, it's going to happen. And one thing that we teach at PGC is never base your game on hope, and just hoping that you get through the stressful situation and somehow stumble upon a solution is not a plan. And that's why I'm pumped for Lili to share her 4 tools for stress, so that we can have a plan for when we run into these inevitable stressful situations. So take us away, Lili.
Absolutely. Well said, Ty. So the first thing, specific to this time right now, but like you said, Ty, I think this is probably good for us to carry on no matter what. Number 1, don't start your day with social media and or the news. I really got stuck into this last week, where I would wake up, open up Twitter, and see like the 10 different ways that the world is ending. Well, like, of course I'm going to be stressed, because that was the first emotion I felt when I woke up. And so whether it's social media or the news, whatever it is, try to start your day on a positive note, with a morning routine. And there's so many things that people can do in the mornings to get themselves off to a great start. I know Ty does some amazing things as well. But for me, I created a 45-minute playlist of just like positive, upbeat songs. And as soon as I wake up, I start that playlist. I lay in bed for a few songs because, I'm still tired. And since I don't have anywhere to go, take it a little bit easy. And then I get up and I start my day, going through hygiene or getting breakfast or saying hi to my parents. But in the background, that positive playlist is playing. And it just helps to start my day on a mood that's not down and anxious and stressful, but instead is kind of uplifted. And so that's one tool that I think we can all use, is try to build out a morning routine. What are some things you do in the morning, Ty? So I know you have some great ones.
I am happy to share, but I cannot share because I am imagining what songs you listen to. So give us 1 or 2 songs that are on your upbeat playlist right now. What are you listening to?
All right. So it may sound a little cheesy, a little on the head, but there's a song by India Arie called There's Hope. And she's just talking about like, hey, this bad thing might be happening, but what if we could kind of put some different lenses on it? Like, there's still hope. There's still great things to be positive about. And I'll actually share some of the songs. Maybe I'll link to the playlist.
Yeah, there's some people that are saying they want your playlist. So follow Lili and drop her social media in here again. Follow Lili. She'll share her morning, stress tool playlist.
Absolutely.
I'll listen to it tomorrow morning. We're gonna actually do a whole peak episode on how to establish a positive morning routine. So I don't want to give away too much here right now, but I just want to co-sign Lili and stamp, like, don't spend your time scrolling on the screen. You will have a worse day. If you can withhold and set that aside and really just get present, like listen to music and do your thing before you get on your screen, the longer you can push back that screen time, the better your day is going to be. Guaranteed. That's good.
100%. All right, that's number one. Number two, journal daily about how you're feeling. Listen to this quote right here. I actually got this one at a PGC session. Thoughts untangle themselves when they pass through lips and fingertips. And in this case, like your pencil tip or your pen tip. And you don't have to share your journal with anyone. You don't have to write about any specific thing, but just like some quiet time to kind of organize what you're feeling and process what you're feeling can be a great way to manage some stressful or anxious emotions.
Lili, that's really good. And a lot of what you're saying is prompting some great questions in our Q&A. And I would encourage, as Lili shares these next two tools for stress, put your questions into it. We're going to get to them. We're going to carve out time at the end. As Lili's going to give you these tools, we really want to get into the application of these tools with you. So I'm going to let Lili keep going, but these questions should keep coming in.
All right, you got the first two. Number three, self-celebrate. Self-celebrate. Be gentle with yourselves. Like, this is not a normal time. And we may be falling short in certain areas that we assume like we should be doing similarly to how we were maybe even just 2 weeks ago. But self-celebrate, set a achievable goal. And as you self-celebrate, you'll realize you start to gain momentum and feel less stressed and more proud and more joyful about what you're doing. So I think that's super important. And that's something we do at PGC. Like, we start this call with celebrations, and oftentimes they're external and they're pretty zoomed out, which is wonderful. But it's also good to kind of turn those celebrations internal sometimes.
Okay, so let me dig in on this one real quick, Lili, just like I did about your playlist. So self-celebrate. Everybody's like, all right, cool. Yeah, that sounds good. But I rarely see people actually do it. And like you and I both know, the greatest distance in the world often is the distance between knowing and doing. Like, we know we shouldn't scroll first when we wake up, but we just do it. We know we should self-celebrate, but then to actually do it feels kind of weird. So like, all right, let's get real. This morning, what did you self-celebrate about you?
This morning, I think the thing that I self-celebrated was the moment I woke up. We kind of have like that first moment of consciousness where like, okay, I'm awake. And I just laid there. I kept my eyes closed. I took a deep breath and I was like, I'm thankful for another day. And even though that's like a 5-second thing, and then maybe I start scrolling, it's that small win that you can start your day with, something intentional, something that, whether it's gratitude, like it was for me, but something small and intentional that can just be like, you know what? I did it. And especially at this time, start a group chat with some of your teammates or some of your friends and celebrate things throughout the day. Accountability can be super important, and we don't have to not talk to people and not stay in touch with people just because we're being a little bit, distant physically.
Yeah, that's good. And as you tee up the fourth one, let me just do a quick recap of 4 tools for stress, and maybe just hit a couple more applications for people. So, the first one you were talking about, which is basically just acknowledge the situation. So for example, last night, I just got on with some guys I'm really close with, and we're doing exactly what you said. And I just told them what I was struggling with and what was kind of hurting in my life right now. And since that moment, I've just felt so uplifted. And so I just can't emphasize that enough. Like, just tell people how you're feeling. So important. Recap is not go to the screen and get on social media and news first thing in the morning. Another one is to make sure you journal. Journal what you're feeling. So either tell people, pass through your lips, or journal, pass through fingertips. And then the third of the 4 tools for stress is self-celebrate. And I would just go very specific on that one. In the moment, when you're feeling stressed or upset or frustrated, there's a lot of frustrations being shared here. State championship games got canceled. AAU seasons got canceled. Can't get in groups of more than 5, so you can't go and hoop. You can't play, right? There's a lot of things that frustrate or anger you. And in that moment, a great just in the moment tool is frustration equals celebration. Frustration equals celebration. I mean, I had a frustration yesterday with my work. I made a mistake. I messed up. Like someone called me on it and I felt really bad. I got frustrated and I immediately started to make all these excuses as to, well, it wasn't my fault. This person should have done this. I'm angry at that person. And I actually just did. I said, but you know, I did about 20 really good things today. And I created this and I coached that and it completely changed my state. And so I think that self-celebration is just a powerful tool, Lili. I'm excited for number 4.
Absolutely. Number 4, don't forget to breathe. This one, I want you guys to type yes in the chat box if you've ever done this. Like you've been doing a stationary ball handling drill or maybe 2 balls and you just get so focused that you realize you weren't breathing while you were doing that. Yes. Okay. The yeses are rolling in. Absolutely. This happens to me all the time. I'll just be so focused. I'm like, okay, I need to practice this, this combo move or get these 2 balls going. And then I'm like, wait, why is my head hurting? Because I haven't been breathing. And like, we do that when we focus, but we also do that when we stress. Yeah. Like sometimes at the free throw line or during a really intense moment. And so don't forget to breathe. And also, I want to go ahead as a group on the call right now and do some breathing exercises that we can all use when we start to get anxious, when we start to get stressed. And I've been using these all week. My parents sometimes look at me a little funny because they're like, what is she doing? But I'm doing these breathing exercises to kind of center myself. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is called square breathing. And if you think about it in the shape of a square, you guys don't have to do this with your hands, but I'll do it so you can understand. We're going to inhale for 3 seconds. And then we're going to hold for 3 seconds, exhale for 3 seconds, and again, hold for 3 seconds. What this is going to do is going to slow our breathing down and help us to kind of calm our nerves and focus a little bit better. So let's try it right now. We're going to go 3 seconds each. Everybody ready? Sit up straight. All right, here we go. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Again, 3 seconds each. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Beautiful. And I promise you guys, if you do that 5 times straight, like it may seem like it's taking a long time, it will take less than a minute and you will feel very different before and after. And another tool I want to give you guys, you can see this on my Twitter as well. I just retweeted it. There's like this gentleman who's created these online graphics. They're just like beautiful pictures and they tell you when to inhale and exhale and you can kind of follow clouds floating or different things. And it just takes 60 seconds to kind of change your state by using your breath.
That's so good. And I mean, I feel better just doing those 2 boxes right there. And I'm like, why don't I do that multiple times a day? Why isn't that in my calendar daily? So it's going in there. Thank you. One additional one that I've used with hundreds of players that I've mentored and helped achieve their goals in basketball and in life. That's a super simple version of that in games is just this. Like in games, actually type in the chat box if you've ever felt a spike of stress or anxiety or nerves in games. Just type yes or no. If you ever just felt that spike, yes or no. Okay. I'm still looking for a no here. Okay, so everyone's human. There's no bots on this call because you play no, you're a bot. So absolutely. But in games, you don't have time to do the full box usually, unless you get subbed out or it's like a halftime, right? And halftime would be great. So what I've worked with players on, and we've seen a significant improvement in their performance, and especially at the free throw line, because a lot of players feel that anxiety at the free throw line when like they can't just shoot as a reaction and there's more pressure maybe. And so one part of their free throw routine that we've worked on is just to take control of their breath. Right? And they can do it kind of hidden. They can do it in front of them. But basically all I just have them do, whether it's at their side or just in front of themselves, is I just have them take a deep breath. And then when they let go of their breath and they let go of their fist, they're also letting go of the stress. Because a lot of times we feel stressed and anxious over what we can't control. Because we're focused on all these things we can't control. And so the stress doesn't go away. So all we have to do in that moment is just take control. We just took control of our breath. We just took control and we realized to let go what we can't control. And it's unbelievable how much that helps players. Like I've had players improve their free throw percentage, not working on their technique, not shooting more free throws, 5 to 8% within like 1 week of just doing this whenever they feel it. So I think that's just a little quick one you can use in games when you don't have time for the full box breathing. I think will really help some people.
Absolutely. So good. I feel much better after those deep breaths.
Come on, let's go. Well, we've got a lot of questions to get to in our remaining minutes. But first, Lili, I just wanted to honestly and sincerely celebrate you for not only coming on here and sharing this stuff, but we gave all of our directors the option to kind of pick what was on their heart to give to the basketball community. And that you picked this speaks very highly of not just your desire to help people where they're at, but also just your awareness of what people need right now. So please join me in giving Lili either some virtual or real snaps or celebrations in the chat box. This is really good stuff. Yeah. Let's dive into a bunch of questions because a lot of these questions are getting much more specific. So let's get some training. Let's get some mentorship from Lili right now. Let me throw this one out to you, Lili, first, and feel free to throw anything back to me that you want. I think we already answered the one about in game. So how about this? Because this is one that I think we've both gone through. Player in 6th grade. And they're like, I just need to get better during this situation and feeling some stress about even not being able to get to a gym, right? Like I need to get better. I don't have the tools that I had. What would you tell them?
We talk about how like basketball is not a science, it's an art. And I think that's the same thing about getting better, especially now when we know that there are a lot of athletes out there who are not getting better because they're not getting creative. And so I think there's a lot of ways we can get creative, even just by hopping on the peak for those workouts. Like I know we've done some workouts already and we'll continue to do more. There's a ton of workouts on our YouTube page that I think even with just a little modification can be done, on your own in your driveway, And then there's also the mental side of the game, which is something that you don't need to be out on a court at all to work on. And so just realizing that if we control what we can control and we get creative in how we can try to get better, this could be a great opportunity for a lot of athletes.
Yeah, that's really good. And here, I'm gonna give everybody a sneak peek right now. We hear you, okay? We are getting so many questions and requests for what do I actually do? This is a different off season. I need someone to tell me what to actually do. And so we're giving you these free workouts. We got another one coming on Wednesday. We got the 2020 vision workout. Kyle can drop that link in right now, which is a great shooting workout. But Adam Turner, who was on yesterday, has gotten numerous requests saying, hey, Adam, can you help me build out my recruiting package, my highlight tape? Can you help me go through this recruiting process? What would I do? People are asking Lili, what should I actually do right now? How do I deal with this specific stressful situation? Like a gentleman that's on here that's looking at getting another pro contract, but having trouble with the current economic situation. What should I do, Lili? And so we hear you. And so we are going to find a way to hook you up one-on-one with our PGC directors so that they can walk with you through this very important off season and customize training for you, mentor you through these things. And so stay tuned. That is coming Monday because we're here at PGC, created PGC Plus as the place to serve you in that way. So we got more coming this week for free. We got more coming with our mentorship. We want to work with you one-on-one. I know Lili does. I know Adam does. I know I do. I've got one question I'll answer, and then Lili, feel free to pick one off the Q&A, or I can shoot another one your way. So here is a question from Kyle. It says that all these things create stress, physical things, mental things, emotional things, spiritual things. They all create the same physiological reaction in our body, releasing chemicals that are poisonous to our body and making us feel these negative things. How do you balance all these different stressors so that you don't burn out? All right, here's mine. I actually don't buy into balance. I don't buy into balance. And I'll explain what I mean very briefly here. If you imagine like a teeter-totter that kids play on the playground, right? Where they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If that teeter-totter was in perfect balance, that sounds pretty boring to me. If you're just sitting there hanging in the air. Balance doesn't sound very exciting to me, and it's actually not that exciting to most high achievers. Most high achievers find themselves bored when everything is perfectly balanced. So what I believe that I think is fun is to just actually, when you're trying to balance so many stressors, I don't think you're actually trying to balance these things. I think you're trying to prioritize. I think you're trying to decide which one you want to go full throttle on. Am I going full throttle on my physical development right now? Well, then I don't have space in my mind to worry about what's going on emotionally or spiritually or relationally, because I'm focused. Because stress comes from when there's too many things we can't control. But when we narrow in and go all in on one thing, and then go all in on rest. Go all in on rest. Because you can't rest if you're trying to balance all these other things. Balance leads to stress, in my opinion. Balance leads to stress. Be intentional about where your focus is. And if you can't be intentional about where your focus is, that's how people often refer to balance. So that'd be my answer to you. I don't think you burn out if you go hard at one, go hard at another, go hard at another, and have a series of sprints and rests intentionally. That'd be my suggestion.
Really good. I like that, Ty.
We got time for one more, Lili. Do you want me to throw it to you, or do you want to pick one off the Q&A?
All right. I see actually a couple hitting on the same thing. And the idea is, how do we eliminate feeling stressed, upset, or even, having a little bit of rage when our teammates make mistakes? Mm-hmm. And I think the idea is take responsibility. Take responsibility. It's hard to be upset at a teammate if you're taking responsibility for everything that goes on. And the only way you can take responsibility and help your team is to get better at giving reminders. And as our PGC grads know, reminders are only useful before it's necessary. And so I think the best thing that you could do from like a basketball learning standpoint of learning how to help your teammates and how to give better reminders is watch more basketball. And we're all sitting at home with time to do it. So if I was still playing, I'd be so excited to just watch games on YouTube, full games, not highlights, but full games, and really learn the game. Watch some of the breakdowns we do of film on YouTube and just really, really learn so that we can take responsibility, give our teammates advice, give them reminders, and not feel so stressed out that things are out of control, because we can see things and understand what needs to happen before it even happens.
That's good, Lili. I like it. Hey, here's 3 quick reminders, because we've taken a little bit more of your time than we committed to. 1, check us out on pgcpeak.com. You can see past episodes, rewatch this one, share it with a friend. We'll be back tomorrow and every day this week. I'm Tyler, that's Lili, we're PGC, and we're excited to continue to serve you on PGC Plus. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Clock screaming, bare feet hit the floor. Hands off to the races, everybody out the door. I'm feeling like I'm falling behind. It's a crazy life. 90 miles an hour, going fast as I can. Trying to push a little harder, trying to get the upper hand. So much to do in so little time. It's a crazy life. It's ready, set, go. It's another wild day when the stress is on the rise. In my heart, I feel you say, just breathe, just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and be, just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is to just breathe. Third cup of joe just to get me through the day. Wanna make the most of time, but I feel it slip away. I wanna there's something more to this crazy life. I'm busy, 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 and it's no surprise to see that I only have time for me. There's gotta be something more to this crazy life. I'm hanging on tight to another ride.